Hey everyone. The last days I tried to build some decks, but they all ended up quite memey, and so on the ladder they were not really valid. So I turned back to one of my favorite leaders, which is Svalblod, and I took a deck from Gwent. I think he built the deck like a month ago, but it's still very valid. It has a lot of finning in there. It has some interesting engine mechanics in there. So I said like, well, let's make a guide out of this and let's share it with you. So enjoy the guide. And this time actually we're going about the cards and the gameplay plan in kind of like one point. Then we just talk a bit about the mulligan, and then we go right into some example matches, because the splitting felt a bit off in the last guide. So we just do it in one now, and then we head right into the game. So enjoy the guide and let's go. Let's start with the cards of this deck. You have 3 different openers, and my favorite opener is Harald Hansnut. By playing him right away in round 1, you get 4 bodies on the board because he spawns his 3 pals, and like his 3 pals are 1-point skulls with a Deathwish ability that deals 2 damage to a random enemy, and Harald has the ability to deal 1 damage to an allied unit every turn, which is useful to trigger his the Deathwish of his pals, but it's also useful to trigger like the Berserk abilities, for example, of our units. And by playing Harald right away, you can play Svalblood Priest in the next round, next turn. And next turn means all the pals are there, Svalblood Priest is there, and he starts ticking. He will destroy the pals, dealing the 2 Deathwish damage, but it also will get boosted by 2 because on turn end, every other turn, you know, he will boost by 2, deal 1 damage to the right. That's your main engine here. So by playing those out, you immediately can put a lot of pressure out because this will trigger once, this will trigger a skull once, and then you have 1 skull left on the field, which means you can immediately open your next turn with a Hamid Protector. Hamid Protector gets 1 point, boosts by 1 every time an adjacent unit is damaged. So if there's only 1 skull left on the board, you play a Hamid Protector next to the skull, it will get boosted by 1 because the Svalblood Priest will hit skull next and the skull will trigger again, so even more value for you. And then, if you have it on your hand, you can play Svalblood Fanatic between the Priest and the Protector for even more value, because if this goes into Berserk, which means like if it's at half health, which means 2 ticks from the Svalblood Priest, then it will go back to a 5, so you don't lose the damage from the Svalblood Priest, but every damage the Svalblood Priest does will get also help the Protector to buff itself. So there's just like enormous engine potential here if you can get this combo off. So this is kind of like your first finisher where I can really put pressure. I typically do this when I'm in blue. We have more openers. For example, one is Avallac'h into Portal. This is especially good because through Avallac'h and Portal you fin the deck, and there's not much we have to fin the deck. So by finning the deck through Portal and Avallac'h, you get to your keycards in round 3 way easier, which means playing this in round 1, if you have it on hand, do it. Like Portal in round 1 is like the best place to play your Portal. And what comes out to Portal depends on what you have on your hand. Typically what I try to mulligan is the Blacksmith, so we have the Blacksmith in the deck, so the Portal actually gets us 2 Blacksmiths. But what the Portal also could get us is a Fanatic or a Protector. Typically it's like a mix of those depending on what you have in your hand, but as I said, since Protector you typically want to keep in hand, Fanatic depends on what the rest of the hand is, but you can keep this as well in round 1. So Blacksmith should be at least there should be at least 1 Blacksmith coming out of the Portal, and Blacksmith has an order ability, boosts an allied unit by 1, and it increases in charges the more warriors you play. And like the most of our cards, not the most, but a lot of our cards are warriors. So this is a good opening to then start with a Priest again, like try to get the other engines going, get your shield mains out, your warriors as well, so they will buff up your Blacksmith, and this way you can already get going around 1 as well. Shield main is double interesting, especially if you start with a Portal opening, because that like shield main is our second finner. As soon as it takes damage, it summons a copy from the deck to this row, means another 1 card out of your deck. You can typically, like, I want to trigger this with my Svalblod, so I have it immediately on the board before the enemy removes the Shield Maiden, because if the enemy is able to remove it in one, like with these 4 damage to her, then the ability won't trigger. So typically Svalblod is my go-to use, but if you have already a Priest on the field, you can just play the Shield Maiden next to the Priest, and the Priest will trigger the ability end of turn, deal 1 damage to her, and that way she will be summoned as well. So pretty good in like our second open as well. And the third opener is my least favorite opener, but you can do it as well. You can go with the Svalblood totem to just get 2 more bodies onto the field, which you then can trigger, like play Svalblood Priest again. So as you see, like a lot of gameplay revolves around the Svalblood Priest. So try to have it alive. For example, against Nilfgaard, it's a bit harder to have like the Svalblood Priest alive, so you don't want to play it right in the beginning. You want to just like bait, for example, the logs or the removal before you play Svalblood Priest, so it definitely stays alive. And then we have some other cards which are pretty great. If you're in red, for example, you want to have Cleaver on your hand, because often the enemy plays a unit, then play like a 4-point unit, for example, wants to protect it and plays tactical advantage on the unit, which means it's a 9-point card. And if you play Cleaver right at the beginning of your first turn, it will do 9 damage to unit. Therefore, you remove the tactical advantage and the unit from the board, and you get a lot of points from Cleaver. So it's removal and value. I typically want to play it in round 1, because in the other rounds you don't get as much value from it. And if you don't think you need him for removal, then just try to play him as soon as possible for value. At least a 5 should be able to get. You should be able to get a 5 from Cleaver for sure. And the rest of the cards have some nice synergy as well. Let's go from the top to the bottom. Olaf is just like 8 points to the board, really good. But if you execute his Order ability, then you boost him by twice the amount of damage. So you want to damage it. You want to wait a turn so it stays at 8, and then you want to go for damage. If you think the enemy is high point removal like Geralt or Leo Bonhart or something, you may want to hit it once with your Svalblood, so it's just at 7, so like the tall point removal won't trigger right away. But the problem is, if the enemy has tall point removal, then it doesn't make sense to boost Olaf anyway, because at some point it will be removed as well. So the question is what you do there, if you want to bait the removal first, or maybe you want to play a Avallac'h as well, and then he can only remove once anyway. So what you want to do is, like in a normal situation where the enemy doesn't have high point removal, you play it, and then you damage it with your other units. That could be your leader ability. That could be your priest again. Typically what you want to do though is you want to hit it with Knut. What Knut does, damages the unit to the right by half its current power and damages an enemy by that. That means you can do with a full powered Olaf, you can deal 4 damage with Knut, then Olaf will go down to 4. You can use his Order ability already to boost it up by 12, or you can like use some leader abilities to get him down to 1. You can also, if you already played a Svalblood totem onto the field, because Svalblood totem also has the Order ability to damage additional unit by 2, you can also use this next to Olaf to hit it down to 2, then you only need 1 Order ability from your Svalblood or Svalgard to hit it down to 1. Then you get the full value from Olaf, which is obviously what you want to achieve. What's important is though is that you always keep at least 3 charges on your Svalblood if you still have Valkal in your hand, because Valkal will transfer into champion of Svalblood if he is at 2. And the champion of Svalblood, as you can see, is a 12-point unit. And in order, you can destroy an allied unit and heal yourself, which means if you have a 1-point unit on the board and like the enemy hits it and tries to damage it down, you can just like heal yourself up. Typically, that's why enemies don't hit your champion of Svalblood, because it just doesn't make sense for them. So that's pretty good. Also, if you have a 12 in the graveyard, Hjalmar will make even more sense, because Hjalmar banishes a unit in your graveyard and damages the enemy by its power. That's why typically we try to, in round 1, get something in the graveyard for Hjalmar to target. This is a typical round 3 card, or round 2 maybe. And good targets are Olaf, if you play Olaf round 1. You have an 8-point in your graveyard. Champion of Hoth is a 12-point in your graveyard. It's even better, like it's amazing value with Hjalmar. But a Disgraced Brawler is enough as well. Like typically a 7-point Hjalmar, like 10-point Hjalmar, because you play 3 and like have the 7-point damage, is good as well. And 7 is enough to get most of the engines from the field. So just playing a Disgraced Brawler as your last card in round 1 is amazing. If you are on red, Disgraced Brawler will also stay on the board, because the problem with Disgraced Brawler is if it gets down to 3, it will just destroy itself. So the enemy really wants to hit this if you are not able to trigger his Berserk, because if the enemy has 3 damaged units, it will just lock itself and not going to destroy itself if it's going down to 3. So good card to just finish the round in round 1, and then you have like everything you need in the graveyard for Hjalmar. We talked already about this. Ulfhedin is just like, if the enemy has high power units, you want to play Ulfidin. Ulfidin damages an enemy by half of its current power, so it gets better. The higher the enemy's unit is, easy. Anvald transforms a damaged allied unit into a bear abomination. That means you typically want to have like a damaged unit at 1. Then you play Anvald and you get a lot of value out of it. I typically try to just play Demon Longship, damage self and an enemy unit by 1, so enemy will get damaged. You maybe can trigger the Berserker of Disgraced Brawler, but at the same time it also will get damaged to 1 at some point, and that's where I then use Anvald and transform the Longship into a 5-point bear abomination. Pretty good. And well, Fanatic we already talked about. If it's a 2, it will just transform into a 5-point bear abomination. Pretty good. And that's it. So most of the combos just come by playing units together. Svalblood Priest are your main combo units. Protector is always good to have next to the unit hit by Priest, or maybe even next to an Olaf. So when you like sink your leader charges into Olaf, the Protector will get buffed as well. And that is it for the cards. Mulligan-wise, you try to get Avallac'h in your round 1, because if you can do that, then you can pull Portal, and that way you get a lot of thinning. So Avallac'h and not having Portal in hand is a good idea. If you don't have Avallac'h, you can just play Portal without Avallac'h. It's fine as well. Have a bit less thinning, but you still get the 2 extra thinning from the deck, which is really good. Cards like Svalblood Totem are not always good to have in hand. Olaf is always good to have in hand. Cleaver in round 1 is something you want to have for sure. In later mulligans, you need to check if Cleaver is still worth it, because if you're in a round like a 3 card round 4 or like 4 card round 4, Cleaver won't do a lot of damage, so that's when you want to get rid of him. Yalma I typically keep in round 1 as well, because you just want to have it for the later rounds, because it's just a good card. But theoretically, if you have like really good hand, then you could mulligan Yalma for something else and try to get it again, but typically I don't do this. Like, if I have a Yalma, I keep it. Wildcard is a round 3 card as well, but if you don't have, for example, an Olaf, you may want to get it in round 1 out as well, so you then have a target for Yalma. So what I'm saying is probably don't mulligan your gold cards. Harald Hansnet is one of your openers, so depending with which opener you are going, you want to keep Harald, or also probably keep Harald, because if you don't want to use it in round 1, you want to have the opener in round 3, so just don't mulligan your gold cards. So let's move to the other cards. Cards you typically don't want to have in round 1. 2 of your Shield Maidens. 1 is amazing, 2 is, well, doesn't work. I always mulligan away my Blacksmith so I can pull it with Portal. Fanatics really depends. If I don't have any targets for my Priests, then I keep a Fanatic, but typically I want to mulligan him as well, because I can get them through Totem, and they're just like a 4/4 with the potential to become a 5 and like sink some damage from the Priest into it. It typically doesn't. It's not worth it. Protector depends if I keep it. It depends on if I have, for example, a Longship, or if I have the Priest in hand. If I can make the synergy work between Longship and the Priest and like Protector, for example, then I sometimes start with Longship, play the Protector next to it, so like every time the Longship gets hit, like the Protector will also get the buff. Then I play the Priest or something, and like something in between or whatever. If I can do it, then I keep it, and I even keep 2. Typically, I don't want to have more than 1 Protector. Maybe, as I said, like depends like how much synergy is there. You want to keep 2. So always look at what your hand can give you on synergies, and if there's not much there for Protector, mulligan it away. If there's not much there for Fanatic, mulligan it away. Priests typically you want to keep 1 at least. If you have other good cards, then let's say if you don't have cards that damage a lot of your own stuff, for example, if you don't have an Harald, or you want to keep your leader charges, then maybe you want to go a Priest. But Priest is your main engine, so you typically want to have more of them, and never more than a Disgraced Brawler. Disgraced Brawler you can also mulligan away. If you don't have an Olaf, don't have a Wildcard, keep 1 so you can add something to your graveyard, but that's about it. Okay, it seems like I covered a lot of the tips and tricks of this deck already in the card section. Let's just head into some example matches and, well, let's see how this deck plays out. Wow, it's crazy. I think we played against every Skellige deck today. Literally like every Skellige deck. Is there something else in Skellige on the ladder? I'm playing Skellige as well. Okay. Got a ship, Priest, Protector. If you're in red, so that's at least something. I'm not sure. what to think of this hand, but okay. I mean, we got, like, worst case, we can play Olaf Knut in round 1 as well. Gives me also a good Hjalmar in round 3. It's not that bad, actually. It's not that bad.
Our shields are our rampart!
Also, when I click here, click some stuff here. We have, of course, the Longship. Longship has the bonus that we can play Protector next round. It immediately gets the 4, and then we have a 4/4 with the option that it actually grows higher. So maybe at some point we can set up the Fanatic thing. Sure. Can't do really much against this. I also don't really care.
With my shield or
Let's just tell him or try to emulate that we may have a Bloodthirst and we want to have much damage to it. Doesn't matter. That hurts a lot, and we can't do anything. Yeah, that is really annoying. Let's just pray it's the Fanatic. And he can even play like tackling advantage on him. It's at this point we're just postponing when we leave the round, I guess. I'm thinking of keeping the priest. So the question is, he gets 3 points per turn. If we play this and he passes, then we are at 15. You would be able to do it in 2 rounds. Okay.
Don't need no weapon!
I think this is the first time we actually got the lock on the brawler. This is very good, by the way.
May Freya choose.
Just wanted to play the 7 to have it in the graveyard. He also wants to have a 12-point unit in the graveyard. Of course, he's iced. He'll have a big finish on for. Many thanks. This round was won by Blue Belugas. It's crazy how good this is if we can't remove it. But we didn't commit a lot of cards. So like all the good cards are still here. We have a 7 in the graveyard for Hjalmar. It's not a bad setup for us. Like the chokers are still here and with Avallac'h and everything. Nice. I don't need you, I guess. Okay. This is not a bad start. I'm not sure about the long shape, but we don't want to draw into second shield maiden, I guess. Let's see if he wants to push or not. It doesn't, okay. So we just dropped the long shape here. It's good to have some extra mulligans run free. Problem is he has last say, so he can go in a big Hjalmar, remove, let's say, our champion, for example. We need to see how we utilize this fact. Unwild. Okay, what I don't think we need is this. We have a lot of praise, depends what Portal will bring me. Valka would be amazing. Don't have it, so we need to play without it. Offerdin may be okay. Let's see, I think it's okay. With Unwild we can maybe utilize some... We have maybe some synergy with some priests. We start with Avallac'h. I mean, what he's doing is he probably will Marauder. So we actually start with Totem. Because if he Marauders, then those may actually turn. That's something I'm totally okay with. Our next one will be... Okay, so the next one will be Avallac'h. Could we can like priest now to get some extra value? Can he remove it? I mean, he has Hjalmar, so he can remove 1 priest for sure.
Fill our hearts with wrath!
But we still have a second one. Let's see.
Haven't got all day.
Blocking. Okay, it's better like he locks that than Olaf. There we go. 1, 2. That's actually pretty okay. I can work with that. I can work with that. He can, of course, kill 1. I mean, not with a Berserker right now, but hey. Priest, so that's something we may think of removing. We have, at the moment, 1 removal. What is the removal we want to kill? That's just only the engine, I guess. All the other stuff are just... would just be value. You know what? Let's do this. I wanna kill his only engine. If he's a Freya, I of course can get it back with him. Sure. I'm not sure wanna. Let's keep Avallac'h where it is. Let's protect. Actually, we should have probably protected both those, but yeah. So next time you see this, like, protect your blacksmiths with each other. Alright. Okay. It's the point where we want to play an Olaf maybe. But if you also could play another priest. Question is then, do we play Olaf here or do we play it in front of the priest? Or do we trigger it now and then play the priest? That doesn't make sense. Let's play the priest now. Then we probably want to play the shield man at some point. The question is why do we play the Olaf? Because we only have we already have 6 points. If you play this, then we're already at 8, so...
The gods are with us!
Wow. That is an amazing mod. Good thing it hit this one. Now we have more room space on the row. Maybe even, we get even more room space. We could trigger it, actually. We could play Olaf here and trigger it, but you know what?
Give them no rest!
I don't think so.
No reprieve! Now! All together!
Hey, oh shit, already. That happens if you play too fast. It also happens when you talk to a camera. You don't do that, guys. That's something we wanna remove. Right, it's okay. This case doesn't help me anymore. This doesn't help me. We need to play an Olaf soonish. So there you go. You protect him, you protect him. Because I want to Knut on him. Let's see if he can do it in a turn. Oh, he can, because he just needs to play the butcher and
We'll go at him together.
Okay. So the question here for me is now, can we kill it? In one turn. We would need to use all our damaging abilities, buff him up, and then you would need to use Knut, I guess. That is not a very good Knut combo though. So you cannot just get Harald maybe away, then he needs to do other stuff for Valkal. Remove Valkal or go for big Olaf. I mean, Olaf can be removed as well. He has a big... You know what, guys. I think removing Harald we do a big... Well, I don't need to use this, I guess. Can't use most of our charges, so we need to get rid of them anyway. And you protect him, and you protect him. Whew. If he has 2 butchers, he of course can trigger Valkal. But with 1 butcher alone, he can't do it anymore. Yeah, Yuta makes a lot of sense, of course.
Exactly what
That would have gone out anyway, so... Well. That's my on-off target, unbolted target. Now I also have a good Ulfhedin target. Which is not too bad, actually. Sure. I need to play Arnold now, because otherwise it will get killed with a priest.
Kept my tongue.
And then we have an Ulfhedin. Ulfhedin will hit the 12 and maybe more. We'll see. Question is just what is his last 2 cards. As if it backers will be 13 for
Blood
sure.
for Svalblod!
Okay, that's not bad. There we go. What do we hit? You, of course. If it's a big unit removal, then like at least get some free points out of it. And he needs to do 80 points. No, wait, it's more. Yeah, there we go, 90 points because of the ancient. Okay, and it is.
Svalblood,
Yeah, it's not.
Svalblod
Oh
alone.
wait, it's 12 though. Not enough though. Perfect. Power screen, that could be problematic. I don't have too much control options to deal with it, so... Portal, okay. Howl is probably not a bad thing to have. Especially for free, probably. But I guess in this case we want to start with it. Because we want to push in round 1. Like, if you can push round 1 maybe and win, actually. And then we push in round 2 again. Sure. Cleaver would have been amazing. Right? But the Cleaver is not here. Let's use those against instead. I can't even think of just keeping like all of it in. It's a threat. Why do we use it though? That's the question. It will get bigger anyway.
They're up our loins!
So far so good. And well, 1 point less for Wolverine. Actually nice that he eats the big ones. And perfect. This will trigger anyway. Damn. I have time. Overden will be able to win this round for me. Overden is currently in 12-point play, so we would tie with Overden. And thanks to my priest, we actually could have gone, would go ahead here. So I can't do anything about the Bavagazi here. Portal at this point seems not the best choice as well. We could go for Avallac'h, don't go for the big other totem.
In your dream.
There we go. We're still in the game here. A lot of fanatics. Pretty good. It's pushing like crazy for all this consumes. This especially. 17. Wait, 22. So this is an 11. 15-point play. With 2 cards we can still go ahead here. I think we can just play the Brawler actually.
Big game of beer!
I don't think he will do anything about it. won't Cyclops in 11, for example. Don't think he plays Crowns. And like, getting rid of Brawler here is good as well. It's good for Hjalmar. And in run 3, when he goes with Fran or something, summoning circle into Fran, then we don't want to have a Brawler out there, especially if it's not locked. Harald was a very good decision here, in the beginning. Sure what to do with Arnwald. Oh, he actually plays Crowns, okay. He still needs to Cyclops something very big here. We still are at 15, so we can actually get ahead with both of them. Do we just play Portal? It's like a way too late Portal, but before I play anything out, if I don't play.
Out for the crowns. Come on, quick now.
It's obviously bullshit to Portal. Like, it's just like to prolong around. Like, since we probably don't want to push run 2 too hard, like we want to push. Well, we actually would like to push run 2, but since we don't push run 2, we can push here. Do we even want to play with it in? That's my question. Arnold is... Arnold is basically a 5. Plus 1 of the priest. Plus 1 of those, it's fine.
Time's come for a change. High time.
There you go. So we could actually push now in round 2. We have a 7 in the graveyard for Hjalmar. If you get something like... not like those. I would like to see... 4-point cleaver. Those. Olaf. Weltcall. That's the stuff I want to see. Okay, why not? Okay, at least something. 3-point cleaver.
Give them no rest.
That's why I want to play
No
cleaver in round 1.
Now! All together!
Bring it! When do you want to play a summoning circle? Yeah, we just killed this, I guess.
Who wants to taste Skellige steel?
No consume for you. You need to bring your good guns. There we go. Okay. Sure. Okay, Kieran is out. He still has his good guns in there. They can't go cut down. Playing this. I think it's kind of like safe. He already had consume here.
Don't need no weapon.
But now we need to just go out, definitely. And I hope he can kill it. Good. So far so good. Huh. Tempting. It's 7. It's an 11-point play. Oh, it's actually 6. 10. It's 10-point play. Never mind. Cool. Cleaver is a 3-point card at this point. Doesn't help. Doesn't help him. You get a lot of consume out, so there's no swarm for him. What he can do, like there's no summoning circle for him because it doesn't help him too much. He can of course get a van out or something. Yeah, we can't play. Like, I need to mulligan Cleaver. Those are the cards I want to have. Those 3 golds. Give them to me. So what are you going to commit? You got a Glasty out. How nice is this? What is this other card? It can't, like Summoning Circle maybe in there. For still a Ran. But Yeah, and it's probably not going to be there. Where you place the vampire. So this is a 6 card, if you play it right away. Okay. We need to play it right away, and whatever we see. Like 6 is still bad, and I think the longship amazing. That's not a bad combo, so we could just keep the combos there for the longship. Priest, okay. Well, Priest and Olaf may be interesting. I think I like the Protector. If it doesn't die, then we can even get like the 4 points from Svalblod in there. So there's my longship. Going to destroy all these little ones. Like this one. Okay. Sure. And you can only destroy one. If he has Renew, he will be able to get another Celestial out. I have like big tempo here. Can play Priest.
Fill our hearts with wrath.
Ah shit, you can't boost Olaf this way. Kids. Oh my god, like... This is so bullshit. I still want this bit. Oh my god. Stupid mistakes. Always play Olaf. Like, order abilities, don't play order abilities as last cards. Yeah, okay. Good that we pushed them too. Thanks everyone for watching the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Gwent content, especially my in-depth Gwent guides going live on weekends. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page where you can support this channel and get cool rewards in the process. My Twitch times are Monday to Thursday starting at 2 CET. See you on stream.